Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another demonstration of StraytWay, which is a navigational app I wrote myself, originally for hiking, but I tweaked it a little bit so it can be used in an aeronautical environment. And today we're going to demonstrate StraytWay by replicating the flight of the infamous flight of John F. Kennedy Jr. Of July 16th, 1999. So he departed from where we are right now, which is the Essex airport, and I'll show you. So if you zoom in, StraytWay, this is where we are. Just to click on this button to center on the current position. So Kennedy departed from this airport, where we are now, and he wanted to fly to Martha's Vineyard. That was the destination. We're gonna use not, I think it was the Cherokee that he used. We're gonna use the Citation because it's much faster. Otherwise, the video takes twice or three times as long. The point is the navigation, so we're gonna use StraytWay, and well, it's a bit macabre. Prove that if he had StraytWay, he would never have. Well, okay. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fly to Martha's Vineyard, and how do we do that? Just find Martha's Vineyard on the map, and it's a triangle shaped. So this must be Martha's Vineyard, and we're taking off to the north right now at Essex, and so we'll be landing towards the north. So we'll be using runway 6. Now, what we do, as you probably know by now if you watched the other videos, just place 2 markers, one at each threshold of the runway. And then make a route out of it. The first waypoint is the inactive threshold. So this one, select it and add it, and then the other one is our active, so the one we are gonna fly over. Nice. The elevation of the runway, that's the last data point that we need, but it's safe to say, well, I'm gonna check anyway. Sorry, I'm gonna do it this way. Gonna check with the other map, which is the elevation map in StraytWay. If you watched the other videos, you'll know. And here are the elevation lines, and it says 10. That's 10 meters. That's 30 feet. An elevation of 30 feet. Well, I'm gonna do it the way it should be done. So go to number 2, our last waypoint. Click on the reversal, and now this appears. This also has to be clicked. So these 3 conditions have to be fulfilled, and then this appears, and now we can enter 30 meters, because what we saw on the map is in meters. 30 meters and a pattern altitude of 1500. Calculate, and this will be our, let's make it 1600, our pattern altitude. Keep that in mind. And now we're already good to go. It's as simple as that. We're at 168 nautical miles from Martha's Vineyard, so that we can go to 30,000 feet just to speed up things. 30,000 feet, and I can show you the descent function in StraytWay. 30,000 feet, and the flight level change. This is citation stuff. It has nothing to do with StraytWay. put it at 2:30. We're not going to do the navigation part of the autopilot because StraytWay will be doing that, so we've done it just 5 seconds. There you go. And then we need to arm the heading so we can fly out nicely on our heading altitude, and we're good to go. So this yellow arrow points to the threshold of Martha's Vineyard. What do you know? Let's get airborne. Flaps 1 set, and well, it's pretty short runway, so I'm gonna power up and keep the tow brakes on, full power. Just stand on the brakes. Yeah, release. Well, rotate at 110 knots. And off we go. Whoa, that's way too much. This is not a flight gear up. And we have our flaps up. And activate autopilot. And we're stable. So, just have a look outside. We are reduced power to climb speed. And there we are. We are already airborne on our way to Martha's Vineyard. And the time is approximately 8 o'clock, the 16th of July, 8 o'clock in the evening. So now the weather is set to maximum clear. So I'm cheating a bit. Kennedy probably didn't have that luxury. That was a bit haze, if I understand well. But anyway, so how are we gonna fly to Martha's Vineyard? Just follow the yellow arrow. There we go. So in the bug, the heading bug of the citation, just emulate the corner. Estimate the corner just visually of the yellow arrow with the bug, and that's enough, because the fine-tuning you'll do as soon as we have stabilized. And that's the OM. So we're climbing out of in our Cessna citation. The runway has already disappeared, I think. Should have looked earlier. Now New York is, where's New York? Must be somewhere. Tell you what, where is New York? We'll have a look on the map. Change back to the human map. And so New York should be here. So if you watch, if you go like this, we should see New York. So in the background, but the flight simulator does not. It's too far away. Does not seem. Oh, there's the Empire State Building. That's the only part that's replicated at this distance. But anyway, that's Manhattan here. That's Manhattan. Back to our cockpits. Perhaps it shows here. Better? No, it's too far away. Good. So we're on our way to Martha's Vineyard. Are we? Just check our heading. Yeah, approximately. So the bearing is 79 true north, and we're flying 82, tracking 83. So we need to give the citation 4 notches to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that, sorry, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're turning to the left till the gap between 83 and 79. Eventually we'll end up at 79, if all is well. Yeah, it's evening, so it will be a VFR, a night VFR, and there is this kind of haze. Perhaps that's what I'll read it from the. It says investigation. So it took off. So it was in a Piper in a Cherokee, a Saratoga, Piper Saratoga, not a Cessna, and it was hazy. That's about the only thing that Wikipedia says. And he crashed just west of Martha's Vineyard. Too bad. Where are we now? We are north of New York, over the, what is this, White Plains? And as soon as we reach cruise altitude, wow, sunset on our little Cessna. It's always beautiful. Ah, the money shot. This is what a 1970s ad for Learjet would have looked like. The colors are kind of 70s. If you look at the other side, the Cessna is nicely illuminated. Where is our Cessna? On the left. So we're here already. We're over Greenwich. And we'll be going over Stamford and then over the ocean. South of New Haven. And then we'll land at Martha's Vineyard, which is over here. So this will be our very simple StraytWay, but effective, as you will see. Now what we're going to do in our Cessna, we have our hold on. So this will be our pattern altitude. We'll round it up to 1600 feet. So we're gonna enter that in the altitude we're gonna set here. Not yet. Well, we're gonna wait till we are at level. Otherwise, we'll get a problem. First, let's level off, and then we can also check our top of descent, because the StraytWay calculates the top of descent completely automatically on the basis of this information that we've put in. Here it is, 43 nautical miles, but of course it only becomes meaningful once we've reached our cruise altitude, which will happen shortly. And we're on track.
Altitude.
There we are. Already gonna reduce power. Citation doesn't have auto thrust, so watch out for overspeed, but that doesn't matter. It's a demonstration of StraytWay. So we are leveling off, and the sun is still shining on the dashboard. And that's probably the haze that the Wikipedia is referring to. You don't see the horizon if you are VFR. So we're at 30,000 feet. Yeah, well, side note, 30,000 feet, you're never allowed to fly VFR. Above 18,000 feet, you're not allowed. So, but it's just to show the capabilities of StraytWay. You can calculate descent rates from whichever altitude. So that's the point. And our top of descent is 28 nautical miles. Just keep an eye on that. We're 2 degrees off, so you always have to adjust the... so we're gonna add 2 degrees in the Cessna to the right. 1, 2. So don't watch... Cessna says 94 because that's magnetic. But we don't really care about the deviation and variation because we're only using StraytWay for navigation, which is always true north. And the Cessna is only for to steer the airplane through the autopilot. That's the only thing we use the autopilot for. I'm gonna give it a little scratch under my ear. Yeah, the barometer, it's blinking. It's because I set the barometer at standard for both, so we don't have to worry about the barometer. That's a bit cheating, but it doesn't detract from StraytWay. StraytWay can perfectly, I mean, it has nothing to do with the workings of StraytWay. It's just to keep things simple. 19 nautical miles. So what happens when we reach our top of descent? Then we'll activate the vertical speed, autopilot vertical speed function, and we'll put the vertical speed at whatever suggested descent rate StraytWay will be showing, and you'll see as soon as we've reached top of descent. And we'll be there in 14 minutes, Martha's Vineyard. I think Kennedy in the Saratoga would have taken perhaps 3 or 4 times as long. I don't know. So that's why we took the Cessna. And if we look outside, you can see night coming. And that's exactly what Kennedy would have seen. Yeah. Remember, we're in '99 and there were no Android phones, there were no apps. There was just GPS already existed, but it was very rudimentary, I can imagine. Oh, there's some traffic. Spotted from our belly camera. And this here, if you want to know, yeah, that's Fire Island probably, but we're not guessing. That's Long Island, and this here, this inner water is called. Does it even have a name? No, it doesn't have a name. If it had a name, it would show up because everything is on these maps. Ah, those are the Hamptons. Sounds luxurious. And that's Fire Island, the stretch. This whole beach. Now there should be an airport right about here. That's why we see. Ah, must be there. Oh, overspeed. That's what you get when you talk too much. That's this airport. Francis Gabreski Airport. Kennedy wouldn't have known. He didn't have a StraytWay. So as a reminder, StraytWay cannot be used in a flight simulation. We're using a flight simulation to demonstrate StraytWay, but it's unless you write a code, as I have, to link StraytWay with a Microsoft Flight Simulator, it cannot be used. So it should be used on a real phone, because we're using it now. It's on the phone. So what you see on the screen is actually this phone that streams to the screen. Sun setting. Glorious. Gonna have a look outside. Wow, look at that. Sun setting on our little Cessna. Gonna take a screenshot. Perfect. It's already a bit too late. Would be nice for a thumbnail. With all that talking, oh dear, we already have a descent rate, so that's one thing we're gonna do. Just put us down, our altitude down, a bit down, and we'll set that later, and then descent rate 2,200. And now we should start descending. 2,200. Round it down to the nearest number. So 2,300. 200 should be fine. Let's make it 300. There you go. So we're descending towards Mars Vineyard. And that's with all these cinematic pictures. We forgot our top of descent. Normally you shouldn't do that in an airplane, but anyway, here we are. So we're just descending, and as you can see on the we're gonna, because we are flying VFR, we're doing a left pattern, because this will be our direction of landing. This is the center line of the runway. We're 46 miles away from that center line, and just make sure, gonna make sure, so 1,600, so we're gonna put that in our here, because we put in a discretionary number, a temporary number, and we put it to 16,000. Whoops, okay. 16,000, perfect. Now this here is the, well, it's getting pretty dark now. Well, StraytWay should be able to handle this if we have VFR conditions, no problem. So this, if we are an altitude, a pattern altitude of 1600 feet, our descent, if we descend from the pattern altitude towards the threshold at a 3-degree angle, that should take 4.7 nautical miles. So we have to keep that in mind when we are circling around, maneuvering around the airport, to keep that as a kind of minimum distance. And depends, this time we're gonna fly straight in. We don't have to do a downwind leg. We don't have to do a downwind leg. Hold on. Because we're flying straight in, so to speak. Not straight in, but so we only need to, we can Actually, we can already start doing that. Why don't we start doing that? We're 39 nautical miles away from the center line. So we'll start reducing this distance as soon as possible. So we'll be already established. So we're gonna turn a bit to the right and make it 45 degrees. The yellow arrow and the magenta arrow, or the magenta arrow with the top of the compass rose should make 45 degrees. So we're turning a bit to the right. And how are we doing on our... Yeah, it disappears 2,300 and we are here 2,300. We're still fine. So we're turning a bit to the right till we have we should be fine. Now this speed, this distance should decrease faster, so it'll bring us faster to the center line of the runway. We have the luxury, we're over the water, so why not already align? Hope that makes sense. So we don't have to watch the yellow arrow because that points to the threshold. Just watch that angle between our, that's our interception angle. So it's like if you were flying in an ILS, your localizer. So that's the angle at which you're gonna intercept. Gonna reduce our speed a little bit. Oh, it's getting really dark now. Oh dear, oh dear. Hope StraytWay works. And this is the belly view. This is what Kennedy would have seen. No, it would even have been darker because he was slower. We started at the same time, but his plane was slower, so it would even have been darker. At least we have the sunset. And no, the Cessna is no longer eliminated by the sun. Back to our cockpit. Now this will be interesting because, to tell you the truth, I've never done a night approach in using StraytWay. So that will be interesting. Oh yeah, you will probably see me in broad daylight. Well, that's a simulation, so I tried to simulate the cockpit, but it doesn't dim for the night, so you'll see me in daylight Cessna cockpit. Hopefully that doesn't detract from the experience. And talking about experience, so we should be descending much slower, 1800. Otherwise we'll end up in the drink, just like Kennedy. Ah. There you go, 1800. No need to descend earlier than you should. 19 nautical miles to our interception. So, as a reminder, those 19 nautical miles are the distance to the extended center line at an angle of 90 degrees, so perpendicular distance, or orthogonal distance. That's why it's different than the 35 nautical miles to the threshold. It's shorter. Don't know if that makes sense. We're basically flying IFR. only watching our instruments. And we should. So I keep comparing what StraytWay says as a descent rate, suggests as a descent rate, to what I've put in the autopilots. And it's... we should reduce it to 1600. There we are. To make our descent rate shallower. And I'm gonna reduce our speed to below 250, so that we don't bust the speed restrictions for 10,000 feet. We have to abide by at least one rule during this video, which is not a flight instruction video, which is a demonstration video for StraytWay. All the rest is extra. $1,400. Make it 1,400. So our descent gets shallower and shallower. Don't lose track of this. As soon as this gets below 2, then the needle will start moving, and then we certainly will need to turn to the heading of the magenta arrow. And that at that time will also be the direction of the yellow arrow, the course of the yellow arrow. So they will coincide at that moment, which will mean that we are aligned with the runway already, even at 27 nautical miles away. That's the privileges of VFR. You don't have to fly or follow jetways. In the meantime, it's really dark. That's our belly camera, and it's really dark. That's a sliver of sun. The horizon, sun setting. A summer night on July 16th, 1999. Six. Watch it. So get ready to turn, because we're going pretty fast. And tell you what, I'm already started turning, so we don't have the embarrassment of overshooting. Keep an eye on the descent rate, which that's a bit too early, but we have 22 kilometers to get to our center line. The descent rate is now 1,500, so adjusted. That's because the descent rate is calculated on speed made good, which is the wide speed, and it increases if you are turned towards your target. 3 nautical miles away from the center line. So remember, at 2 nautical miles, we'll start moving 2 nautical miles, and voila, the needle starts moving. Very gentle, because we are at a very shallow intercept angle, small, so it's fine. And once we are the needle approximately, I keep an eye on the descent rate. Yeah, still matches, and nothing can go wrong, or shouldn't. Oh, we've got traffic. What the? No, that's not. Oh, there it is. Suppose that's our traffic. This is not the time. We're already at 5,000 feet. So I'm gonna... yeah, start turning a bit. Ooh, we are overshooting it. We're at 13 nautical miles. Yeah, we overshot it. But no worries. There we are. And that should correct it. .11 nautical miles. And we're almost there. 1,500 feet descent rate. Well, what you know, that's our runway. There it is.
Altitude.
And we've reached our altitude. So we need to correct to the right a little bit. And then we let the autopilot do that. And we're gonna make sure 6 nautical miles. Gonna get to flap speed. And we're gonna go to
Autopilot.
manual flight. Gear down, full flaps, and we've got full flaps. I'm gonna trim the plane, and now we are visual by VFR. We're too high; it's blue, so we're higher than 3.5 degrees. So we should correct for that. Wow, this is a challenge. Night approach. Now we're fine. .2. We should be at the descent rate of 600, and we are at 700. Yeah, that's good. The 3.2, descent rate of 800, which is a bit too much, so I'm gonna increase the power. Our speed is on the dot, on the donut, and now this will be a bit too. Gonna try and center us.
500.
I move them as if I'm in a real airplane. That's quite a challenge. We're a bit too low, but no worries. So, cut power and flare. in the dark. Good. So we are at Martha's Vineyard. Give it full brakes because we don't have reverse thrust. Here we are, Martha's Vineyard. We did arrive thanks to StraytWay. Now, if you want to know where we are on the runway, we can just kind of stop now. Normally you shouldn't do that, but just for argument's sake. And you can see where we need to go if we want to go to just get rid of the route, just delete everything, clean up the screen. And if you say, well, we need to turn, like this turn, and now you can see the nautical miles to our turn. We start moving now. We set our target there. There you go. We'll be there in 3 minutes. If you want, you can set that to so here's the chime. Or is it? Yeah, there's a delay between, because we're using here it is, flight simulator and not the real world. There's a delay between. Ooh, that's tricky. Night arrival. I'm not used to this. Okay, here we are on the taxiway and see where we are. That's where we are. Let's say we need to park here. Just put a mark, add it to a route, make a little route, add a route, and then go to here. And then make a route, and then go to here. And now you're not gonna miss it even in the dark. So we got our little route, go to the first waypoint, by class. Now we go to the first waypoint. And look at that. I think we need to go to the left here. Yep. So the yellow arrow points to the place where we need to turn off to the left, and the blue arrow points to the next waypoint. So when the blue arrow makes about right angles with the yellow arrow, or you can also watch the distance, but that's in nautical miles, and there's a car ahead. We know that we have almost reached our... You're too late. It was here. It was this... we needed to turn here to the left. Yeah. So that's because of the delay between StraytWay and Microsoft. In the real world, you wouldn't have that delay. So why don't we just move to our map? And there you go. Now you see us move. That's our direction of movement. We're on taxiway Alpha. So straight. Oh, that was a runway. Yeah, that was a runway. This is not a flight instruction manual. So we're crossing, well, it's just a threshold of the runway, so it's not too bad, but we're not crossing the runway in full. And now if you turn to the left, we have the main building. You can can see it on the map. So why don't we think we can just turn here on the apron. Ooh, that's oh, that's grass. Well, anyway, kind of. We made it to Martha's Vineyard, and it was, for me, it was also the first time I used StraytWay in the dark, and it seems to work just as fine. Unfortunately, Kennedy wasn't that lucky. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time for another demonstration of StraytWay. Bye bye.